All right, I'm Kyle,
And I'm Kyle.
and this is K squared. All right, Kyle. So we're back. We've had a little bit of an absence, um, but we do have a comment from our last video. It's our old buddy Travis. So I'm
Let's
gonna let you read this one. Let me share my screen.
see what
Can
old
you?
Travis Scott's got to say.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So tell me, can you see that?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Have
So,
at it.
at the Live Wellness Lifestyle says, stand outside of a yoga class and notice how you feel when all those people walk out once they finish their Zen. It's like a wave of peace that rolls out once those doors open. And I think that this one was talking back about like, can you feel different like emotions from people or auras or something like that? Is that on par?
So yeah, it's going back to just like an energy of an area. Like, and I kind of feel the same way. Like we kind of went back and forth on this one just a little bit, but we kind of made it equate to like ghost or negative energy, like going to a haunted house. Like, do you feel something
Yeah.
there? But I definitely like agree. Like, if you go to a concert or you go to a football game, like just being in the vicinity of that area, like, we went to the Alabama Tennessee game. The moment you got there, it's like, man, I feel amped now because we're not even in the action. Like, there's nothing going on, but we're just around people that are having a good time or excited to be there. So I would kind of agree with that as well. I like, you did yoga, didn't you, that one
I did,
time?
I did Tai Chi.
You
Yeah.
did Tai
It was
Chi.
Tai Chi through the residency. And it's the
Oh,
truth because um they were like, Kyle, go ahead, go to this thing and actually do it. So I was actually doing the Tai Chi and like there was moments of when I caught myself like my body got cold and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And I was like, it was like me relaxing and everything. So I guess like a zenny type of not like
oh.
a Zen pouch, because that's totally different, but like them little dip pouches.
Yeah. At first I was like,
Not
what are
that
you
type of
talking
Zen.
about?
Not that type of Zen,
Oh,
but
that's
like
great.
peace Zen. It was true. I felt it and I was like, oh, this is weird. And I was like, I don't know if I like it, but then I was like, at the end, like it was for like chronic pain. And all the patients that were in there, they were like, oh, I actually kind of feel a little bit better. So I think it's true as well.
Okay. Awesome, man. Did you not do yoga in the park with
Oh,
us in Johnson City?
I did do yoga in the park, but I'll be honest,
Okay.
I was being stretched to no end that I was like, I can't even hardly breathe. So I wasn't getting a lot of zen out of that one, I ain't gonna lie.
Gotcha. But you got down with the Tai Chi.
Oh, I was for the Tai Chi. That was actually nice. It's just a lot of smooth movements. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay.
The moment you mentioned that, the only thing I can think of is like whatever, the last airbender.
Oh, yes.
I
We
could
were
see you
given
doing some
some,
water bending.
oh, I I will bend some more. I had to think about that before I said it. I was like, hang on a minute. I'm gonna
Yep.
bend it like Beckham out here.
Yeah, I could see the contemplation going on there. We're like, how do I say this with
I
making
can't
it?
take it too far. I can't take it too
Yep.
far.
I love it, man. All right, so that covers our comments on our last video. So now we've got two new questions. The first one goes back to March Madness because obviously that just ended with UConn winning. But hey, Alabama got to the Final Four. So look at that. How did Tennessee end up again, Kyle?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I
I don't
don't
think
pay
they
much
made it to the
attention.
Final Four. Just
They didn't
saying.
make it as far as what I had them in my bracket. I know that much.
Yeah, I heard you were
But
doing pretty good though.
I would like to say, I'm going to pretend this is my award. I would like to thank the Academy
Ah, okay.
for this award and my undying knowledge of all the sports ball because I got first place in our PT group, and everybody else that didn't make it as far as I did can suck it.
So I will say the only reason you got that far is because I did not participate in that group. I
Then you're the biggest
literally,
loser.
man, I am the biggest loser. I was so mad because like I went in to like start filling it out on the day and apparently I missed it. But like, would you not, like in the past, could you not go and fill out the bracket after like the first round? But for
I
some
would
reason, there was a
assume not.
cutoff this year. There was a cutoff this year, and like I couldn't go and like actually start filling in the brackets. I was upset about that. But anyways, it's my fault for procrastinating. Also shout out to Travis, just going back to Travis. He sent us some of his program. If you're watching, go check out his program or check out his website at least. And it inspired me to buy some new sound equipment. So if you guys like the microphone, please let us know in the comments. Just let us know if it actually sounds a little bit better or not. All right, so going on to our question and back to March Madness. Um, Obviously watched a bunch of basketball, and I feel like a lot of the times the announcers are trying to go for sound bites. Whatever, they'll play something at the end of the game, or they'll play something like where there's a highlight. And I just think it's funny because they're like, oh, another cold-blooded three, So Kyle, with that being said, this I guess this really isn't a question. It's more of a, can you give me a sound bite that you would say if somebody was like making a shot or dunking on someone. And do you feel like these announcers practice these bits? There's the question. Do you feel like these announcers probably like practice these bits beforehand? Like, are they standing in front of their mirror in the hotel room, like trying to come up with something to be like, oh, that's going to be a good one. We're going to put that one in there later.
I think so. I think that that's something that's a little bit more scripted. I don't think it's something that's off the top of the head because they're announcing to millions and millions of people out there. So I think that's something that they would probably be practicing and be like they're at home like trying to write these things up. They're like, "Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good."
Like that's the
So
way the crooked cookie crumbles with a Walter Cronkite.
yes, I was thinking Bruce Almighty, but that's okay. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about that other person, but I know who Bruce Almighty is.
Yeah, there you go. That was in there too. All right, so what's yours, Kyle? If you had one,
If I had to give one, and this is just me totally coming off the top of my head with this,
that's all we
um,
need.
it's nothing too special, but if somebody was just like making like shot after shot, I'd be like, "Woo, that boy is just too hot to trot."
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
that's probably just off the top of my head one that I could come up with that I'd be like, that's everybody likes that alliteration. Is that alliteration? No, it's not alliteration. Rhyme. Everybody likes rhyme and rhythm.
There you go. Rhythm. There we go. So I like that one. I feel like you
Oh, I
need to,
got one.
okay, go for it.
If they made it, and this is just me, of course, no announcer's gonna do that. They kept shooting the ball and about, oh, that's a one space meatball.
There you go.
That's
Um,
that's what I do.
hey, that's all that matters. I feel like I'm gonna go with one that doesn't make any sense, and I think honestly, I feel like sometimes the ones that don't make sense are the better ones. Um, But I obviously you're putting a basketball into a goal, so you have to put something into something. So I was like, I would probably go with like, oh, and he puts the pickle in the jar or something ridiculous like that.
I do love a pickle though.
I know you like pickles, that's why I went with that one. And then the
Mm.
other one would probably be like, and he puts the cheese on the sandwich. Something ridiculous like that. Because I don't know. I think the more ridiculous it is, the funnier it is, and it makes the whole thing entertaining, even more so than it already is. All right. So
I have a terrible one, but I'm
do
not gonna
it.
say it.
No, say it.
And he drives the plane into the building.
Oh my God.
Whoops, canceled.
Oh man. And that was the end of our show. So that was
Yeah.
great. Oh, we're probably on a watch list now. So, but who knows?
Wouldn't be the first one I'm on.
Yeah, probably not the first time we've said something not so appropriate, but this what makes life fun. All right. So, our second question, and please put some in the comments of like what you would say if you were in one of those moments and somebody just like, made a great three-pointer at the end of the game, buzzer beater. What would be your ridiculous saying that you would put? The more ridiculous, the better. Um, so the next one, since I got my face adjusted a little bit, um, I feel like I look more like a villain, a Bond villain, or a villain from Austin Powers. So let's talk about some villains. We've kind of done like superpower superheroes. Um, who would be your like all-time favorite bad guy? Like he's so bad that you're like, man, I love that that guy is a villain, or
Yeah.
he's pulling off what I would imagine a villain being.
So I'm gonna come at this one. So it's a movie. Um,
Okay.
I guess that's mostly where you either movies or books. Um, but this this guy in the movie just like made me hate the villain so much that it was good. Like you were like, this is just great. And it may just be the fact that he's that good of an actor. And I think this one might surprise you a little bit, but I'm going from the movie Inglorious Bastards.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
So,
go with Hans
yes.
Landa or Landa.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Man.
I think his name's like Christopher Waltz or something like that.
Yes.
And that is like one of the best villains I've ever seen in a movie.
I would agree 100%. I don't speak German, and I have no idea if his German was spot on, but the confidence and the way he delivered every single one of those German words and put
So he's from
inflection.
Austria. So
Okay, so yes,
it's
his
legit.
German probably was flawless, but like the things that he did with his hands, like the way he poured milk, the way he ate, it was just like everything was done just like a perfect particular way. And I just, yeah, it definitely did. Like it made you hated him because he was such a bad guy, but there was just something about him that like drew you to him, if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. So I think that's a great one. I'm actually going to give you two.
Ooh.
One is Heath Ledger as the Joker. Um, and like my reasoning behind that, and I think he was like one of the most iconic roles as far as like a bad guy can go because um, I grew up loving Batman. I haven't watched a ton or read like a ton of the actual like graphic novels or comic books, but like I just had like in my mind like the Christopher Nolan portrayal of Batman is like literally what in my mind I think Batman as. So I love the fact that like there's no real backstory. Like you have no idea who the Joker is. Like even his like the suit that he wears, like there's nothing that identifies him or connects him with somebody because that I think that makes him so dangerous and so scary is that like even the mob is like we don't know who this dude is. Um and like every time he gives you a story about the scar on his face, it's a different story. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I just think he portrayed um the Joker in the way that I would like him to be portrayed if he was a bad guy and was like a real person or whatever.
Right.
I also just love the fact that he like burns his half of the whatever multiple millions of dollars and just like, you know, just trying to send a message, everything burns. It's like, oh my goodness, man, this guy's a psycho. So I think that's a great one. Another one that I liked was oh man, I'm trying to remember the name of the movie now.
Well, while you're thinking of that,
Yeah, go for it. Go for
I've
it.
got a second one.
Okay.
Um, and just because I think I got a little touch of the tism, I've been on a
Okay.
Harry Potter kick here
There
recently.
you go. Okay, cool.
Um, so like Voldemort, I think was a very good bad like villain, but I
Okay.
also character development wise, Beatrix Lestrange,
Yeah,
just
that's a good
as
one
the
too.
actress and the way she does it, I think she did like um, a really good job. But I'll never forget, and I'm almost to it. Like I said, I'm on a Harry Potter kick right now, so I'm on the last movie. But when Voldemort like it says, Harry Potter, the boy who lived, has come to die. Hey, hey, hey. The
Oh
laugh
my
he gives,
gosh.
if you've
Yeah.
not seen it, the laugh he gives is absolutely terrible, and it makes me
Yeah.
just cringe every time I hear it.
Yeah, I honestly I think okay, I think the book character 100%
Yeah.
awful. But I honestly didn't like the portrayal of him by the actor. Just because I don't know, like obviously I know he's like super powerful and everything, and like in that moment, like if I was Harry Potter or whatever, I'd probably be terrified. But I was just like the hissing that he did. I mean, I think he did. I don't know. I just like I wanted to be more menacing, and just
Yeah,
it seemed like he was more slithering snake or whatever that guy
I'm
says.
a slithery little snake.
Yeah,
I'm a
exactly.
slithery little snake.
So it kind of came off like that, and I was just like, okay. But yes, please stop. Oh man, I love that. That's like making my
I
face
think
hurt.
that there's
Oh,
like that's the difference between like a limitation between like a fictional book trying to make it into
yeah,
like a real movie and then a nonfiction book that like you can actually carry over. But
yeah,
like if you're going with fiction, like there's just some traits and things that you cannot do no matter how good your CGI is if you're gonna have an actual human person
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, of
So
course. I agree 100%. This is my other one. I kind of like said I was going to give you two and then I couldn't think of the second one. But this honestly got me into binge watching. And just like I feel like it blew up Netflix. Was Breaking Bad with Walter White. I feel like Walter White, even though he is like the protagonist of the series, I mean, he's a bad dude. Like he's, even though again, like you can always make that argument that like you're doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. But I feel like at some point, like absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I don't think you've seen the series of Breaking Bad, have you?
nope,
Okay.
never watched it.
So everybody who's watched it, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you like a little synopsis because I feel like Kyle, you need to know this. But this guy gets cancer. He's a chemist.
Oh,
Has
that explains a lot.
Yeah, literally has no money. He's got a wife with a child who has cerebral palsy, and then his wife is now pregnant. She's an older woman too. So, you know, and they give this wonderful background story of how he's like gone and done certain things. Like he's tried to do the right thing all the time in the past, and like things just haven't worked out. Like he sold his share of this multi-billionaire billion dollar company to pay rent to like support him and his wife. And obviously at the time the company wasn't worth that much. Like he sold like whatever his shares of the company that were worth like $5,000 or something like that, so that he could like keep food on the table. So like you would think like, hey, good guy, he's got to do the things that he's got to do. So anyways, he finds out he's got cancer. They are extremely broke, and he like sees one of his students like literally falling out of a house and ends up following this student home, and finds out that the student is like selling meth. And he's like, you know what? I'm a chemist and I can like cook meth. So his plan is like, hey, I'm going to die anyways. So I'm going to do this horrible thing to make enough money to, set my wife, set my kids up for life.
Right.
And he does that, and again, you kind of like root for the guy from the very beginning. And I would 100% recommend you go watch this series. But it got me into binge watching. But again, he ends up falling in love with the money and falling in love with the power and falling in love with the ego. And it kind of ends up backfiring on him. But I think, like, I can't remember the actor's name right now, but I think he does a fantastic job of portraying this, like, person who is your average high school teacher, has a little bit of a stick up his butt, very particular about following all of the rules to a painstaking degree, and then he transitions into this murdering, like power hungry drug dealer, and it's wild. There's a part where he is, and I'm gonna again go on this little bit of a rant, but there's this part where he's having a discussion with his wife, because he's had a moment where somebody got close to him and his family, like they were trying to kill him. And she is like having this conversation. It's like, what happens like when the door knocks? Like somebody's gonna come like knocking on the door one day, and
Right.
something bad's gonna happen. And he's like, do you know who you're talking to? I'm not the one who is sitting there waiting. I'm the one who knocks. And he's literally saying, like, I'm the killer. I'm the one that, like, I am the predator here. I am not the one being pursued. And
Right.
it's like, oh, it gives you chills every time I watch it. I was like, man, it's so freaking good. But anyway, so those are my two. Yeah, I think that's a good spot to end on. Any other comments, Kyle?
Nope, not that I can think of.
Cool. All right. So, um, please share in the comments if you have any other bad guys that you think are awesome. And then Kyle, I'll let you take it out.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in and watching this episode. We hope that you enjoyed it. If there's anything that you would like for us to talk about, just leave it down in the comments below. But besides that, we enjoy doing these, so we hope that you enjoy watching them. And if you'd like to join us, just let us know as well. That way we can have you on as a guest, because I think we're a little past due for a guest on here. But anywho, like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and we will catch you all on the next one.
All right. See y'all next time.